Hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Say Yes Movement podcast, where Heather and I challenge you to say yes to all the scary stuff. Heather, good morning.
Good
So happy to have
morning.
you here today.
So happy to have you too. So you're feeling a little under the weather, yes? So we're gonna actually,
Yes.
as he coughs, we're actually gonna activate all the energy that your body can muster on this call, and teach people how to do that. Because yes, you're going to give yourself rest and relaxation afterwards as a gift. But for now, we're just gonna activate your body to be the best it can be. So I'm going to coach you, John, if that's
All
okay,
right.
to
Yeah.
change
I
your
love
body
it. Like
language.
in the moment coaching. I love it.
Yes, and just pull those shoulders back, get some deep breaths in. And if anybody was watching live, what you saw was John was on the screen leaning
Mm,
forward, sort of in, and that's because over the many years that he's been on this planet, he's taught his body how to feel ill. And so his body just
mm.
naturally did that. So we're just gonna trick it a little bit for a little while, because you are gonna go rest after this, and pull the shoulders back, take some deep breaths. And as you just take those deep breaths, just notice the light that comes in through the top of your head, goes through your whole body, down your arms. With each breath, you're healing yourself from within, and you have all the energy you need to do exactly what needs to get done today.
Excellent.
And if
Wow.
your shoulders go back forward, I'll pull them back. So
Pull
just
them
mirror
back.
me. I'm going to pull them back a little bit extra today, so that we're connected and mirroring each other. And actually, that's a really good moment, John, to talk about how to connect with people even virtually,
Mm.
because we're not in the same room. We're not even in the same town right now. We're sort of on two ends of the town,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we can still be connected and be impactful for each other.
Yeah, no, it's funny that you just did that because it was a great exercise just to it was a great reminder that how much of our physiology, not like I'm anxious to go back to this way, right? How
Yeah,
much it
look, your shoulders
actually
are already going.
I know, I know,
Yeah.
I know. But yeah, no, just the importance of our physiology, right? Like how we sit, how we stand, how we interact with our bodies. You're right. I've been curled up in a ball since like 3:30 this morning, just trying to stay warm and fighting off the fever. But you're right. I mean, sometimes you don't have the opportunity. Based on what we do, my commitment is to be here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:40. Nothing was going to stop me from being here. So that little adjustment actually helped. So yeah, that was really good. And we talk about just when you put your body through so much, you put yourself through so much, right? Because I know, and typically I don't. This is like the first time I felt like this in over a year and a half, right? And it's just funny to be here and just to remember to just fix your body. So for those of you that are
Mm.
watching, and I know Gunjan, I know you're there. Good morning. Maybe there's a little adjustment you can put into your body today just to kind of correct yourself. Hmm.
Well,
So powerful.
John, there's even more to that, right? So, we do things like have a routine at the end of our workday where it's, I'm going to go sit on the couch, I'm going to turn on the TV, I'm going to, think about all of those things that we've taught our bodies to do, and it naturally wants to do what's easy. And then we're like wondering why we feel unaccomplished, or wondering why we feel that we haven't got everything done in the day. And if we just dedicate a new habit for just 1 minute, just 1 minute. And you saw, and anybody watching just saw it, John just changed his shoulders and took two deep breaths. It's 30 seconds of time to change how he feels. So think about your routine, think about what you do every single day that may not be nourishing your body and your mind in the best way. And
Mm,
that's the thing, to just do a slight change. And we're not saying eliminate it completely. In fact, elimination diets or elimination of tasks or things that we do is not the best way to go about, because then you feel like you're missing something. So replacement therapy is the better way. So what would you
mm,
replace it with? So, I didn't tell John feel better. I said, John, let's breathe. Let's pull our shoulders back. So we replaced his feeling of, and his focus of not feeling good, with a body change that actually is how his body is when he feels great. And so that's the connection that's happening. It's a powerful, powerful exercise to hack your mind, hack your body. But John's also going to give himself rest. So it's
Yes.
both at the same time.
Yeah, no, I think about, as you're saying that, state shifting, right? Just moving to a place where you feel more empowered. It's actually one of the things that we do in all of our master classes and masterminds. The first thing we start with is let's put ourselves into powerful states. And we do that by changing our physiology to get there. And it's such a simple way of just empowering yourself, right? If you're feeling low energy, like I was getting into this call, and you can hear it. Actually, you can hear it in my voice now. You can hear it in my voice where there's a lot more energy now than there was just a few minutes ago. 6 minutes ago is really when we started this whole conversation. So yeah, it's change your physiology, change your mind, change your state. It's such a powerful tool, and I feel it's almost like something that we should bring into the schools, right? Like this is something, my passion for this is what you should be learning in elementary school. This is what you should be learning in kindergarten. Listen, you want to feel better? Everybody stand and do the superhero pose. It's such a basic movement, right? And there's a lot of research. Amy Cuddy did some research in around this. And when we can do that, we can put ourselves into a completely different space and how we show up. How I'm showing up right now with that little adjustment, it's like, ooh. And I'm not like, this isn't fake stuff, right? Like this is really happening in the moment. And it's just
really happening in the moment.
Yeah,
and,
it's really happening.
We look at little kids and we're like, oh, I miss being playful. No, we don't need to miss being playful, because joy and happiness comes from moving our body in really unique ways. So, oftentimes, and this happens when I'm driving the car, I'll put a song on and I'll sing like as loud as I can because no one can hear me. Although there's people that, that I've influenced in other cars where you pull up to a light and I'm singing and they, they're like, giving me a thumbs up, and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Turn on your music. Let's have a dance party. Let's do it at the stoplight. So there's so many things that you can do just for a quick moment. And it's, when I'm coaching clients, oftentimes I'm coaching just like me and you, John, are talking today. And when I see that they're sort of stuck in a rut or a story, what I'll do is I'll just say, can we just pause talking about it for a moment and let's change your body. So, and again, I pull their shoulders up, chin up, and I ask them to focus on a section of the ceiling and don't take their eyes off that section of the ceiling, because when your eyes are looking up, your chin's going to stay up, which means that you're not going to start to fall down, which means that you're not going to pull in and take shallow breaths. And if you're taking deeper breaths, then you're nourishing your whole body, and then you can actually see a new solution. But if you're only focused down here, that's all you're going to see. So bring the gaze up to see more possibilities. And oftentimes, well, almost all the time, actually, I'll rephrase that. People have the resources within them to find their own solution. So as coaches, we're just the journeyman or the journey person to ask questions to get them to solve it themselves. But you can't solve it when you're like this. You got to solve it like way out here. So, I will actually change my body to be like bigger and more powerful by pulling my shoulders back, but also in giving a big hug. Like my shoulders are not closed. They're like, let's have a hug, right?
Yeah.
I don't want your cooties though, John, so I'm not giving you a hug.
I've already told you, the tallest, some of the tallest people I know are 5 feet tall, right?
That's right. I'm only 5 feet tall, and people are always shocked when they see me in person. They're like, what? You're so much bigger on screen. Well, I'm the same size as you on screen, but yes.
Yes. No, so that reminds me of just interrupting patterns, right? It's one of the things that we talk about in neuro-linguistic programming. When somebody gets into a certain conversation and repeats the same thing over and over, changing their physiology is a great way to break them out of that pattern. And I love the way that you talked about just lifting and looking up. That's going to give you a different perspective. That little pattern and that little routine that's playing in your head, it's going to change because your body is no longer tied or anchored to that thought or feeling. So you think about when we are feeling powerful, you think about like athletes when they cross the finish line, they do this this is one of the things Amy Cuddy talked about in her book. That will immediately break any pattern that you're going through. And for those of you that lead teams, all it is really observation, which is what you did initially on this call, to see, hey, what's going on with you? let's shift your physiology to break the pattern of what would typically be somebody who's not feeling well. And just
Mm-hmm.
shifting the body breaks the pattern of what they're going through, and it puts them into a new routine, new pattern. You talked about replacing one for another, and
Mm-hmm.
that little shift really put me into a more powerful place. And it's just breaking a pattern that we're all telling it. Like there's that story, that subconscious story that we're always telling. Well, I'm not feeling well.
Yeah.
So, right. So you can shift into that.
Don't
But
let
it's
your body
just,
get back in that, because it'll
yeah, no,
easily go, right?
it's anxious to get back into that position.
It
But
wants to. It's forced. It's really, really, it's in control, right? But you get
mhm,
to make it in control, and you're tricking your brain. I want to go back to your sports analogy. You know, the athletes do this when they
mhm,
win. You know, at football, they do this whole dance. There's a whole body action that happens with it. But there was this study done, and maybe Amy Cuddy, but it may be someone else, that even blind
mhm,
athletes who've never seen someone do this, their natural body is also in this power pose, hands up, full alignment of their entire body from top of their fingers to the bottom of their toes, and the energy just flows through them. So think about that someone who has never seen this happen, their physiology is happening
mhm.
powerfully in the same way. So if you want to trick your body for just a moment and be like, I've got this, I've got
Yes, I
this, I've got this,
got.
right?
Can
That is
you
the
imagine?
way to go.
I was just thinking, standing in the office, yeah, we're gonna do this. And when you tie it in with voice, you tie it in with emotion, you're tying positive emotions to that posture, which makes it
Mm-hmm.
even more powerful, right? Because when we don't feel empowered, we get a lot quieter, right?
That's right. That's right.
Um,
Check your voice.
so
Check your
yeah,
voice.
check your voice, right? Like, how are you feeling? Like, all it takes is raising your voice a little bit, and not in a voice that gets angry or anything, but just in a voice where you get excited, and like that
Mm.
starts to ripple through your body. Oh my
Yes, check in where your
gosh.
voice is coming from too. Is it sort of stuck here? Is it sort of stuck here, or is it coming from your belly? Is the voice and
Mm,
sounds that you're making coming from the air in your belly? That's a really good indication that you're being present and powerful at the same time. Okay, going back to the sports analogy though, think about when you go cheer on your favorite team.
mm,
You go, you put the shirt on, you're ready, you buy the tickets, you're all in, and then you get there and you have the energy of the entire crowd, and your team scores the goal, and what does everyone do? Woo, right?
yeah, everybody
Power
goes
pose,
crazy.
woo, going crazy, yelling and screaming. We're yelling and screaming. Okay, I'm a sports fan for some, but not right. But for a bunch of other people on the field playing, what if you were the cheerleader like that, with that much energy for your own life and for your team's
Ooh.
results and for the people around you? Then what's possible?
Oh, that would be wow. You're right.
Yes.
We do such a good job of cheering on others that we don't even do that for ourselves, right?
No, let's get on our own playing field and cheer for
Mm.
us. That's what we need to do. That's how we activate the energy for our goals, for our life, for our businesses. We always have to be cheerleading. And instead, what happens is our voice gets in there. It's like, oh, you're not good enough. This isn't the time. You need more education, you need more money, you
Mhm.
need all these other things. No, the time is right now.
I
This is
know.
your day one. Let's make it happen. I know you don't feel so great, but you know what? We're still going to do one action today. And John, your one action is joining me today on our LinkedIn Live, even though you've got a fever, probably of 101 or something. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but the sweats have stopped, which is amazing. I love it. Um, but yeah, no, who knew that today was going to go here? But I think this is so important because it's one of those things that we don't realize that we have in our tool set as a way of transforming ourselves really, really quickly. We
Yeah.
think transformation or change needs to happen over time. But the truth is, and Gunjan, you know this, right? Because you've been in a room with 10,000 people, and the one way everybody shifts their state is by dancing, jumping, and really puts them into a really high energy peak state that puts them into a completely different place. And you can
Mm.
do that from standing still, feeling low energy, getting no sleep, and then all of a sudden you're like into peak state, and it takes only a few seconds. And then you stay in peak state because you keep doing the same activities throughout the day to bring you back into that peak state. And what if we could just bring ourselves back into peak state anytime we wanted? We can. We totally can. And
Totally can.
it's one of the reasons why I have something called a rebounder, which is really a mini trampoline. Jumping on that thing just for a few seconds puts me and elevates me into a different state. Don't get me wrong, it's a great core workout too. Reminds me of daily priming as well. No, absolutely. That daily priming, and we've talked about this in other episodes, sets you up for the rest of the week. And how do you want to show up day to day, right? Like if you're feeling, listen, coming into this call, my energy felt pretty low. My energy, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this, right? A little shift, a little adjustment in the moment. Like this is like, there's no BS here. This is exactly what happened in this call. It really shifted, and this is going to ripple and impact the rest of my day now. Right. So yeah, I could be curled up in a ball and I'm going to go get some rest, but I'm more likely to go do other things I didn't think I was going to do before I hopped onto this call.
Well, and think about some of the internal dialogue, right? Sometimes when we're not feeling good, we start to feel guilty, or you know what, I'll rest when I have done these 3 things. And now actually you're activating yourself to give yourself the gift of rest after, with no connection to guilt or feeling bad, because you're acting in a powerful state to make the decision to give yourself rest. So it's just another thing that you're going to do today that is powerful gift to yourself. And that awareness that rest is just as important as powerful activation of our body. We got to give the gift of both. And I think that's amazing. And awareness is a skill, right? It's knowing the signs that are all around us in our environment to be our best selves, and then asking people around us like, hey, I need some help right now. So, John, you didn't know that I was going to coach you, but you knew, because that's what we do for each other. And it's the gift of, I can't change my state all by myself right now because I'm really feeling under the weather, but can you help me? And so, who's beside you? And it can be your spouse, it can be your kids. Sometimes just going to your kids and saying, do you want to play for 5 minutes? And you might not feel like it, but if you invite that in, they'll give you a hide and seek. They'll give you a, something. They've got all kinds of games in their head that they want to play with you. So, who's around you that can activate something different and prime you in a different way. And it might even be just turning on the radio and listening to a song, right? There's all kinds of ways to do it.
No, it's funny you say that, because one of the things I do in the morning with my dogs, for 5 minutes, I throw the ball inside the house, and they're little guys, right? So I can throw the ball. It's a bit of a workout for them, but it's a great way to pull me out of state, right? Like, it's okay. I'm going to go play with them. I'm going to run back and forth with them, because the key is to tire them out so they're not all over us for the rest of the day, right? So it's a great way to shift my state. And Felicia's saying, get better. Thank you, Felicia. Heather, yes, we should not feel badly about getting some rest when we need it. No, absolutely. But I think, there's almost like this culture where this oh man, what's the word I'm looking for? But it's almost like work through it, right? Don't get rest, like work through the projects, work through the things that you need to get done because they need to get done. It's like, wait a minute, no, go take a nap. Like, go take 20 minutes, like 20-minute naps. I love 20-minute naps. I don't know if you do them, but I love doing my 20-minute naps in the middle of the day if I really need it. It's just a great way to recharge my batteries when I'm feeling burnt out, right? And yeah, don't feel bad about it. Like, why? No. Why do we got to burn ourselves out? Which is probably what led me to where I am today, because I pushed myself a little bit hard over the last couple of days. And and this is what happens, right?
Well, now you have that awareness. You've activated a new level of awareness for yourself. So like, pushing hard feels good in the moment because you feel so. Actually, what's the new process that you're going to now be aware is best for your body? And it may be pushing even harder because you are going to reactivate a new level for yourself. So I'm not saying don't push hard. What I'm saying is it's the awareness of in the moment what your body needs and wants and needs to have to get to that next level of success. Because you're an Ironman, so Ironmans need to rest. They sleep too.
Yeah. I just wanted to quick mention, Gunjan's like, I love my power naps. It recharges me. Absolutely. And yes, Felicia, always listen to your body. So I think that's the homework today. If you need to, take a nap. Just get some rest, recharge your body, give it what it needs in terms of some love today, some self-care. And if it means just 20 minutes sitting to the side or meditating or whatever it is
Yeah.
that is for you, take that 20 minutes and just get some rest, right? Recharge yourself, get yourself back into a place where you feel incredibly powerful.
In fact, look at your calendar right now and book it in, because what your listen to your calendar, not how you feel. That's the key to this. So put it in your calendar, 20 minutes. It might even be not till bedtime, but instead of watching TV for 20 minutes, do your meditation, do a silent time. Yeah, I love that, John. That's the call to action. All right. You are going to be powerful and recharged by the end of today. And we're going to close it off right now, right?
All right, everybody. So remember, when you shift your mindset, you shift your life. It's the key to getting you to where you want to be. And it's one of the things that we're passionate about. And what we talked about today was just really encompassing that through our physical bodies. So shift your mindset, shift your life. Have an amazing Wednesday, everybody. And we'll talk to you later. Take care. See you on Friday.
Bye, everyone.